It's Neil from Mighty Little Green Machine. Welcome back to the channel. Well, today's video is going to be part 2 of repairing and maintaining the grapple. We're going to finish the job up and get it back together and ready to go for the season. If you watched part 1, we started to straighten this middle piece here, and today you'll see me finish that and how I ended up getting it taken care of. We replaced the O-rings in the 2 lines going to the cylinder and got that done. Now today we're going to go ahead and get this put back together, put a little grease in it, put a little oil on the bushings, and call that a day. So let's get started. Okay, so I cut my first piece of angle iron, disregard my welds, and I welded it on, and I got this piece straight by clamping it a little at a time and welding it. I went and bought this welding table today. It's just a cheap one from Harbor Freight, but it's better than welding on my pellet stove. So I've now cut the second piece to put here. So it's gonna go this way. And I gotta do the same thing, grind it, and then weld it in. I also decided to go out today and get gas for both of my welders. I've never TIG welded at all before, but I do have a TIG welder that I was given right here. And I got gas for that. And I also went and got gas for the MIG welder and switched the wire over from shielded. I really want to practice and practice. I want to get good at welding. I'd like to be able to be better at it. I can penetrate and get it to be strong. It just looks like heck, and I want to get it better. And I also want to learn how to TIG. So I'm going to grind that out and weld that piece in. So as you can see, what I did was I took a bunch of clamping vice grips and I used that to straighten out the metal. And then I'll just keep working my way one direction and the other, moving the clamps as I weld. One last thing before we paint it. I gotta drill the holes for the bolts. Grab a center punch. I feel like this video is about 32 days long because I've been filming it for multiple days. Just working on it when I can. I'm going to try my step bit, which for those of you that don't know, I don't even know if you can see that. It starts off small and just keeps getting bigger. And they're good at drilling thick metal. I used to use them for putting trailer hitches on when I had my shop. Back when you had to drill holes in the frame. What happens is, the farther you go, the bigger the hole gets. Make it a little bit bigger. Ooh, I better double check the other ones. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that takes care of that part of it. Okay, I have both sides in primer. This is what I'm using. I don't know how good it works. Rust reformer. Supposedly it converts rust so it doesn't rust any longer. There's a product on the market that works amazing called POR 15, that literally converts rust. It just seals it off and it prevents the oxygen from getting in there and it never rusts anymore. This stuff is way, way, way less expensive. So I have no idea how good it works, but that's what I've been using on my metal. Okay, so this is what the finished product looks like. So we went ahead and sprayed it with the rust inhibiting primer, and then I painted it with John Deere paint from the dealership. I've said this in my videos before. This is only a couple of, like, $3 more than buying the off-brand stuff at Tractor Supply, and the paint is really resilient. I've got it as straight as it's pretty much going to get. I've welded in the pieces, and now we're going to reinstall it. Okay, so this is dried, which is not one of my strong suits. I'm not patient when it comes to paint. And I don't know exactly. So normally I'm putting fingerprints in it and everything else. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get this back in there yet. I didn't even exactly think that through. So I do have a little bit longer bolts. I am going to use blue Loctite on them, because there is a lot of vibration, and hopefully that will help us. Let's see. I don't know if I can do this. You probably can't see anything right now. Oh, that went better than I thought. Okay. Okay, hopefully that's better now. A little blue Loctite. Now I lost the Loctite. I literally just used it. Are you really? I guess I did. I lost it. Did you fall on the floor? There it is. Okay, why? Now, I have a small problem. This thing doesn't quite want to go back in again. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to grab a hammer. Huh. I don't know why. I don't see why that's not fitting. Okay, well, I'm not going to lie. This is not a problem I saw coming. I almost wonder if it's different shape. Hold on. Of course, I also forgot to open the jaw when I put this in here. Yeah, it doesn't seem... I'm going to have to cut this or grind it or something. Huh. I didn't see that coming. So apparently that is a super tight fit, and I think the problem is the angle iron. So I'm going to have to grind this. It's been almost 24 hours, and this paint's still a little tacky. Okay, let me get a grinder. So what's happened is the angle iron is just not even 1/8 of an inch longer. Here, I'll show you. If you can see, it's sticking up a little. So I got to grind that angle iron down. Let me do that, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, it turns out it's just one little corner. And I think it was actually the weld. Okay. There we go. Oh, let's put some Loctite on this. And then tighten this up. Nothing a bigger hammer won't fix. Oh, I might have messed up these threads a little. Oh, I think I got it. Okay, so these bolts are 9/16, and I actually think the other ones were too. It's going to be easier if I do this way. Come around this way. Sorry to get you seasick. And there's the finished product. As you can see, I'm no longer hitting my piston. That thing is pretty straight. Now, hopefully that keeps it that way. You know, I don't know. We'll find out. I might be able to bend that angle iron still. Who knows? But at least it's stronger now. So I got 2 more things I want to do. I'm going to grease it, and I want to lube the pins. Let me get my grease gun and my lube, and we'll go. So this pin and this pin don't have grease fittings, so they look pretty dry. So I'm going to put some spray in there. I use this stuff. It's synthetic. It's Super Lube synthetic multi-purpose lubricant from John Deere. It's what they recommend for doing your 3-point hitch balls and stuff. It wasn't super expensive, and it lasts forever. I bought this can when I had my 1025. I'm still using it. It's still more than 3/4 full. So stuff seems to work fine. I don't see any reason not to use it. I'm sure pretty much any other lubricant would work, but back and forth in there. And move that back and forth in there. And now I got the grease fitting here and the grease fitting there. Let's put some grease in there. And I'm going to call this thing ready for the season. I really would love to paint the whole thing. It's just not going to happen. I don't have the time right now. But if you don't have, it doesn't matter what kind. That's a locking end for this. It just locks onto the fitting for you. If you don't have one, I highly recommend one. It makes this stuff much nicer, no matter which kind of grease gun you have. That seems like it's very dry. Oh, there it goes. Obviously, I've been neglectful. There, that was better. Okay. So, it's ready for the season. Everything's lubed up. This is straight and reinforced. I have decided not to weld a piece of metal in here yet. I want to pay more attention to how it works before I do that. But I also do want, as I said earlier, I want to buy a new grapple. So when I get the new grapple, I may fill this in with an expanded metal. And something stronger, and use this one just for doing rocks. So we'll see. Or even weld in some rebar and kind of turn it into a quasi rock bucket. But I don't know yet. That's down the road. But that's it for today. Thanks for coming along. I enjoyed having you out in the garage with me. And I'll see you next time on Mighty Little Green Machine.